Shari. Hi,
It's
everybody.
the Monster Mash. The Monster Mash.
Monster Mash.
Welcome to the Sisters of the Mystical Tarot with two very sick sisters and two normal sisters. So
Six sisters.
take
you
the sick
figure
in
out
whatever
who's who.
means you want.
Normal. Yeah.
Oh my God.
In case you didn't
Like
know.
I said, I went back to work today and I wound up
got
having
my
to leave and come
Dragonfly
home.
Oh,
there
good.
you go. I went to work today. I stayed home Monday, Tuesday. I went back this morning at 3:00 this afternoon. I was like, I can't do this. I came home, laid down, and I was out for several hours. And then I got up and it was like, okay, do I call off for the show or do I show up? And I thought, I can sit here for an hour and show up for everybody.
Yeah.
So
there you go.
I go into a coughing fit. Just ignore me. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. Please be sure you go to each of our channels and like, subscribe, and share. And we all have memberships now, including me. So go become a member. For my new members, I've got 5 members now that joined. My apologies for not getting my welcome message out to y'all. I have just been, it's like I couldn't put 2 words together, much less a whole message. So it'll be a little delayed. My apologies, but I am working on it. It's just one of those things. So tonight, where I wrote it down, I already forgot what we were going to talk about. Thanks to Lee Omega and Marina, who kind of helped me plug it together. Our topic is, how do we fix or nurture the childhood hurts, especially during turbulent times? Because that's when we usually want to drag everything up that happened to us when we were 4 years old. So,
and that was Leah's question. And
that was
as
Leah's
Shari
question.
was trying to figure out, what the topic was going to be, and I thought, oh my gosh, that's perfect. Not just for a single question, but for a discussion.
Sure.
Because there's lots of people who are dealing with the same thing.
Marina had sent me the question and I said, I don't even know what to talk about this week. I can't think straight. And she was like, well, actually, this question would make a great topic. And I went, and I read the question and I had to think about it for a minute because my brain was like in slow-mo. And I went, oh, you're right. That is a good topic to talk about. So thank you, Leah Omega, for not only submitting a really good question, but for giving us a really good topic to talk about. So, you hit a home run this week. Thank you very much. So, who would like to go first to talk about what?
That's funny because every time I ask my students, anybody have an answer to this? Nobody says a word.
So, other than that, you can't shut them up.
Right. That's right. So I'll go. That's fine. I don't mind going because my first thought is being triggered, and so if I feel like I'm being triggered and I recognize that I'm being triggered, because sometimes I think I can get triggered, but I don't even recognize it at first. It's just like you get annoyed about some stupid little tiny thing, and you're not really sure why, and you take it out on the last person that maybe looked at you sideways. But if I do recognize it, one of the things that I really like doing is finding some comfort food putting on my pajamas. And if I can, I write in my journal. If I can't, then last Christmas, I remember watching War and Remembrance, which was something I used to watch with my dad when it first came out back in 1990.
wow.
And for me, it was a way of crossing the barrier. And even though that wasn't a childhood thing, because I was in my 30s, he and I would watch TV together, and he'd do these little things for me. One of the little things he would do is we would sit together in his chair, and he would get up and go get a small glass of ginger ale and some Cheez-Its for me. I mean, he and I had this. We did. We had a really beautiful, or peanuts or whatever. You know, he would bring me back something like that. Yeah. So I guess that's what I've realized now, that if I need to, I just kind of put myself back into that. Because the whole thing about being with Dad and doing that, even though I was in my 30s when we did that, it always harkened back to when I was 4 or 5 years old. And that's our relationship was like that. So, but there are times, I know, and I'm sure you've all dealt with it as well, where you're triggered by something and you have no earthly understanding of what that's all about. And I'm sure, unfortunately, we will be triggered even later in our lives from what we've been living through. And it's so important that we spend some time loving ourselves and realizing that we all have been going through PTSD, and we just need to, we need to love ourselves. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Val, would you like to go next?
Sure. Really, it's been about a New York minute since I was triggered. It's been a very short time. Let's just say that the triggering is much more subtle now. But if we're talking about something now, for instance, I have the rationale and the understanding that what is happening is something for me to look inside myself at. And sometimes now it's a greater picture of something, and I'm being shown something, and it's for a really enlightening reason, which is really great. I mean, not that it isn't always for an enlightening reason, because when I was a child and something would hurt me, and then later I'd get triggered by it as a teenager or whatever, I didn't have the understanding that it's all about me and my mirrors. So, of course, for a long time, I held a grudge against all those people.
Yes.
And it took a while to understand that those things were my experience, to learn to grow and become more from that, and to understand what it's like to be on the other side of, or the receiving end of something, and what is my part in that experience. So there's a whole rounded picture of that, and the story still is not you. You are not the story. You are just you're experiencing that play, that scene, that act two. And so looking back, that immediately untriggers you from all of that once you get to that place. But that doesn't mean you ever stop getting triggered. The universe is going to still show you things that are going to be bigger things that you need to clear, maybe ancestral things, like when you take a trip to Scotland or Ireland or whatever. Something will occur in your situation where you're going, oh, what? And you'll have to go later. You're going to look at it and you're going to understand what that particular thing was about. So it's an ongoing process. But how did I comfort myself and help myself through that? It really didn't come. The comfort didn't come till I forgave everyone in my entire world and forgave them for everything. Then I finally and forgave myself for having chosen those experiences. By
Right.
owning them and taking responsibility, all of a sudden the self-nurturing and self-loving came. I opened up for me. I opened it up for myself. I opened up my own self-love. And that was my nurturing. That was my nurturing. I didn't get it until then. I didn't nurture myself. I would whole harbor, those shits. Sorry, pardon my French. But I mean, yeah, you can't blame someone outside of yourself for your experience, because it's for you. It's like an act, a play for you. So that was a little silly. So knowing that, it's a little chagrin about it.
That's great.
Totally
Quick
get
hello
you.
to everybody that came in late. And a reminder, we don't take questions from chat. You have to post your questions in the comment sections on our community tabs when we post the thing for the show coming up. And that's where we pull our questions from. So I didn't want anybody to think they were getting missed or being ignored. So that's where we get our questions. So
can I just address Ruta Willow's topic? You're the person in your universe. You are the consciousness in your universe, in your matrix. There is only you. And believe it or not, it's only me in my universe, So if you're talking about perceptions, it is only me perceiving it. There's not somebody else perceiving my thing. In your own universe, you're doing your own thing. This is my matrix universe. And I get to think and feel and react. So what you do in your universe isn't anything to do with mine. And that is a really weird concept. But there's only one consciousness in my matrix, in my Earth school. And that's a hard concept to get, but it's really true. So
and it has to do with our contracts as well. So, I mean, whatever we've contracted, unfortunately, we're the ones who made the contract.
Yes,
so we have to deal with the consequences of it. Yeah.
That's exactly right. So,
absolutely. I think one of the things that I've kind of learned along the way that if you can come to terms with it, it just makes life so much easier. And that is that everything that has happened to me in my life thus far has made me who I am today. If anything along the way had been different, if an outcome had been different, or if my perception of something had been different, I don't know who I would be. So everything that has been, that I signed up for, the good, the bad, and the ugly, has been for my betterment. And when I view things through kind of that lens, it's like, okay, circumstances were such that, maybe they were unpleasant, maybe they were unkind, maybe they were hurtful, and all those things. But it has given me a perspective that I may not have had if I hadn't gone through those painful things. So like you guys, when I'm, especially now, when I'm triggered by something, it doesn't take very long to just kind of, instead of going into that attack mode, to pull back and go, okay, wait a minute. This person didn't wake up this morning and say, you know what, I'm going to ruin Marina's day today. They didn't. They couldn't care less. So,
although there may be some out there who will, but
maybe, yeah, and that's okay. So, learning to accept that and to say, okay, you know what? I had a miserable marriage. However, out of that marriage came my son, who is a wonderful human
That's
being,
right.
and who I
That's
think the
right.
world of. So,
Mhm. Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. And how do I soothe that child inside? And I have been doing this for I can't tell you how many years. If I'm not feeling well, or if I'm feeling off, it's a pot of tea, whatever happens to catch my eye when I'm making it, and it's at least one bridal magazine. Not
Oh,
because,
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
not
Really?
because
That's cute.
I
Oh, that's
plan
so cute.
yeah, I'm not
Yeah.
looking to remarry. I'm not looking for any of that. But I love to look at the pictures. I love to look at
pretty.
the grounds. I love to
It
see,
is.
what it is. That makes me feel happy. The jewelry in there
I love
makes me feel happy.
Yeah.
So
Yay. Uh-huh.
yeah, that's my
I love that.
self-soothing. Yeah.
I love that. That is a really fun
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, I know whenever I get to that point, I can remember as a child whenever um I I would be fussy, or if I couldn't sleep, or if I wasn't feeling good, or if I was upset about something, my
Mhm.
mother would get me to lay down and she would sing the song, and I could never remember the name of the song, but part of the lyrics was a kitten up in a tree, like a kitten up in a tree or something like that.
Johnny Mathis.
And
Johnny
Johnny
Mathis
Mathis,
song.
yes.
Yeah.
And she would sing me that
It's called
song,
Misty.
and she would just rub her hand very lightly in circles up and down around my back. And of course, just that simple movement would relax me. And then it wouldn't be so bad, And when I got older, of course, and especially after she passed, I didn't have mama to rub my back anymore. So I had to find other methods and means.
Yeah.
And so I guess it depends on if I feel like I need to cry, I'll watch a really sad movie. That will make me cry. And if I'm just feeling blood, I want to feel better, then I'll find a funny movie or a stand-up comedian or something that I know will make me laugh, and I'll watch that. Just something that'll make me really just kick back and enjoy myself. Whenever I start missing my husband really bad, I go watch certain TV shows that were his favorite shows
Mhm.
that I couldn't really watch anymore after he died because it was too painful. But now I can go back and watch them, and it brings comfort because it's like having him in the room with me, which
Mhm.
actually he is, but you know what I
Yeah.
mean. But
Yeah.
I don't know, as a little kid, I mean, we all had aches and pains and hurts and people that hurt our feelings and whatnot. And but I was remarkably lucky considering how difficult things were for us, with a single
Mhm.
mom trying to raise two kids by herself in the 60s, no less. Um, we had a pretty damn good childhood, my brother and me. She went out of her way to make sure that we were in a well, uh, that we lived somewhere that was safe, where she felt safe for us to go play outside. She made sure that we had a sitter, somebody that was there to take care of us if she had to work a weird shift or something.
Mm.
Because she used to do bartending and stuff back in the day. And so you never knew when you might get called to work a night shift instead of during the day at the officers club. So, little things like that. I mean, she always went out of her way to make sure that we had as normal of a childhood, I guess, as one could expect.
Mhm.
I know something a lot of people can't get over the fact when I say, yeah, we never had TVs. My mother never bought a television in her life. The only time we ever had television is somebody gave her one, because they'd find out you don't have a TV, and they think that was weird. They'd give her one. When they bought a new one for them, we'd get the old one, and we'd have it until it broke, and then we wouldn't have one anymore until somebody else came along and gave us another TV. But we would go to the library every weekend, and we would get books. I mean, we'd all three leave the library with a stack of books, like 20 high, and go home and read them all within the week. I mean, I can remember just sitting in the living room with my mom reading books, even as an adult. Years later, after my husband passed, and she joined me in Phoenix for a while. She moved out there with me. And it was not uncommon, if you were to walk in our living room any given night, to see both of us sitting on the sofa reading a book. The TV would be on for noise, but we'd both have our nose buried in a book, reading a book, so.
I don't remember when my mom didn't have a book.
Yeah, I mean,
on the sofa,
exactly.
TV on. I mean,
in the tub, anywhere. I mean, she
Yeah.
kept a book in the bathroom, a book in the kitchen, a book by her place on the couch. So wherever she was at, she could just pick up a book and start reading. And I got in the habit of, I always carried one with me in my purse, a little paperback. So if I was stuck standing in line or something like that, I could whip out my book and start reading. Well, now most of us have that on our phones or on our tablets. So
either
it's
Kindle or
easier.
iPad.
You're not having to haul around a book with us. It's just on our phone. So that's kind of cool. But just little things she would do for us, and,
But you had to develop your own. So what did you develop? Your own soothing technique?
I guess for my son, the rubbing on his back, and of course I can't sing, so I didn't torture him with that. But I would usually play.
No, Mom.
Yeah, it's like I'm supposed to make you feel better, not worse. So Mama's not gonna sing. I'd get his dad to sing to him, but I'd get him to lay down and I'd rub his back. And he's 40 years old, and when he gets upset or hurt or sick or something, that's one of the first things he wants me to do is just come sit next to him when he lays down and rub his back. And it's just such a soothing. As when he was an infant, we used to do it. His back, his tummy. Val's having her coughing spit. I guess it'll be one of our turns next.
It's an attack.
But yeah, I mean, a good cup of tea, like Marina was talking about. I love a good hot cup of tea, and just kick back and watch a movie or a show. Or I don't really watch a lot of TV anymore, but every now and again I'll pop a movie in or watch a stand-up comedian or something, and or listen to music. I do that a lot. I like to go sit out on the patio, and I have the little stupid kindergarten level puzzle games on my tablet, and I'll sit and listen to music, and I'll play those. It's just mindless. I don't have to think about it. It just keeps my hands busy. I don't smoke as much. So
I was really terrible. You guys are really good. I would obsess over it and never let it get out of my mind. I wouldn't find things to take my mind off of it. I wasn't able to even allow myself the opportunity to go do other things. I did not have peace till I forgave everything at one go. Literally nothing.
Well,
there was no soothing. Like, it
is interesting that Sherry's talking about movies, and so the last week or so I've been rewatching the entire Downton Abbey series because I loved it.
Don't you love to just in one go just power watch?
Yeah, I'm on the third season. Yes,
because you don't have to
my
wait
favorite.
Yeah, you just
that is so fun. I mean,
I love it.
I can remember back in the day buying a gazillion VHS blank tapes. so that when the shows
Mhm.
you liked came
Oh,
on, you can
and
pop that
taping
tape in
things.
there and record it. Then you could go back and watch it
Uh-huh.
later over and over and over again until you broke the tape.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's
Yeah.
great now that you can, nowadays when you can just binge watch whatever
Oh,
you
man,
want to,
love the
Yeah.
binge
whatever
watch.
you want to watch. Yeah,
Yes.
me
Power
too.
watching, binge
Um,
watching, love it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me too.
I've been
Yeah.
doing that to the
All
Harry
right.
Potter series. I don't know
Oh, good
what
for you.
it is. I've just
Okay.
been power watching or power listening to people reading the books. It's fun.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
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 Absolutely. I remember, I think I was in my 20s, sometime in my 20s. And I don't even remember what happened, but I was really, really upset. And yeah, my dad came over to comfort me, and he was never a kind of a touchy-feely dad. Like, he was great when we were little, when we were children, but as soon as we started to mature and become young ladies or women, he didn't know what to do with us.
What are
And
those beings? I don't
yeah,
know what to do with them.
yeah, exactly. Like, my God. Anyway, and so he came to comfort me, and it took me many, many years to realize how wise he was at that moment, because he was telling me that I shouldn't be upset, and that whatever was happening was okay, and that it's not a bad thing if a lot of negative things happen to you when you're young, because you have enough time to deal with it and to come to terms with it and to let it go. And he said,
Oh God,
if you're
what
not
great
prepared
advice.
for those things, and they hit you later on in life, you may never be able to recover from it.
Wow.
And, yeah, at that time, I kind of thought, you don't know what you're talking about. But the older I get, I think, oh my God, that was just profound
He was
wisdom.
probably channeling it
He probably
from
was.
your guides. And he didn't know. It just came
No.
out of him. My dad would do things
Mhm.
like that. My dad was not capable of doing things like that, but he did. He'd say things and I'd go, so profound. But that's
I
Yeah.
love
not
what
what he
Maureen
said.
says
That
here.
was channeling.
Yeah.
It's like your guides are using him to give you a message.
Yes.
I like
And
what
I think
Maureen
that that's
said.
exactly
She
what they
was sick,
did.
her dad would buy her paper dolls.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I remember
No, the
those
paper
paper
dolls were
dolls with
fun.
the.
Oh, yes.
They were fun.
My
There's no
mother
doubt.
would draw mine for me. She would use like
McCall's magazine had paper dolls, and you could
Yes,
cut
I
them out.
remember. Yeah.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, for sure. There's some
Mhm.
great conversations going on here in the chat. Hello to
Absolutely.
everybody. If I missed you earlier, we are okay. So we kind of covered the first question because that was our topic. So, and we're like just under 30 minutes, so that ought to be good. We've got really two questions, but the second question is in three parts because it was so long. So,
Okay, then.
um, so the first question up was from Rooted Willow, and she wanted to know if she could get a message from her grandpa Melton, her mom's dad, who passed away when I was 9. Okay.
All right. Oh, from her grandpa Melton. Okay. I thought
Willow?
it was grandma.
Yeah, that's all right. I'm not going to read on this because I did on Sunday, but I'm going to pull just a card with a message for you. Okay, honey?
Okay.
There is a way if you're willing to change the way you see it. So that's what I got for you. Okay.
Very good. All right.
And what I get for you is the Empress. What he's telling you is that you have what it takes to deal with whatever it is that you're dealing with. You just have to believe in yourself. You have to believe that you are entitled, by virtue of the fact that you are a child of God, to move forward and to be happy, to look at your experiences and your past as something that is going to help you flourish in the future. So that's what I get from Grandpa.
Awesome.
Mhm.
Well, I pulled for you the Well Watcher from the Wisdom of the Hidden Realms. And it says that the Well Watcher signals the need to go within to contemplate the true source of power in the world, which we're reminded is that of the divine. This is a message to let you know that you're being called to the well, and this unseen power will be there and will be yours to align with. So I think this is just your dad's way of letting you know that he's always just reach out for him, and he's going to be there. He is with the divine, in the divine, part of the divine, just like you are, just like I am, just like Marina and Val and Aley and everybody else is. We're all part of that matrix, you know. We've all got our little finger in a socket somewhere that's plugging us all in. And so it's just a reminder that that yeah, it's whenever you need to feel your grandpa, just take a moment and plug into the divine, and he's going to be right there. You'll be amazed at the messages that may come through. You just have to be still and be quiet, and that's not an easy thing in today's world. I get it. Believe me, I get it. So, but that's what I've got for you. What about you, Val?
Okay, so your grandpa Melton is telling me the first thing that came out of his mouth, flower pot. And I'm going, flower pot? And I'm seeing this image of like one of those beautiful clay red terracotta pots with like a marigold or something in it. Didn't matter about the flower, but it was a flower pot with a flower in it. And I knew it was symbolic of something. And I kept seeing or feeling like it was about being planted and blooming. Something about that, but it might mean more to you, flourishing. Then he said necklace. I mean, he's saying these things, and I'm like, what? And then I saw he showed me a cameo. So I think these are all symbolic things, and the cameo is you, the image of you, and that when you have a cameo in a necklace, it's going to come down to your heart. And it makes me feel like he's telling you to love yourself, pay attention to yourself, love and care. And that he wants you to know that you're so important and valuable, that he came to give you this message. So please pay attention to it and even expand. Go inside and expand on what that flower pot and the necklace and cameo mean, because this is significant to him to tell you about giving yourself a lot of love, and that just, it is the major foundation for everything in your life. That nurturing, that self-care, everything comes from that foundation. So that's it. Thank you. Thank you, Reardon Willow.
Yeah.
Oh, one last thing. I got patience, receive, and connect. So it all makes sense. You have to have patience with this. You're going to receive information from what these things mean when you connect. So that's really everything. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Val.
Okay.
All right. Quick reminder again, we don't take questions from the chat on show night. We do post anytime from during the weekend to a day or two before the show on each of our community tabs. That's if you go to our homepage on our channel, one of the tabs at the top it says community. You click on there, you find that entry, and then you can go in and post your question there for the upcoming show. And then whoever's hosting that week, we all send our questions to that particular sister so that she has all the questions and we can answer them. It's so I don't want anybody to think that we're missing you or ignoring you. That's the way we established doing this way back when we started this show. And it seems to work very good. That's quite all right, artist list. I figured you probably just forgot. And of course, we're all sick. Well, most of us anyway. So pardon us if we sound nasally congested or coughing our heads off, whatever. We'll deal with it. And a quick reminder, when you go to each of our pages and you like and you subscribe, it's free to subscribe. But you have to be sure you click the little notification bell for all. And then that way, whenever we post something or we go live or we upload a video, anything, you will get notified. And let's say a couple of weeks go by and you don't get any notifications, but you know that we've been live or that we posted something, go check the subscription status, because YouTube is famous for just dropping subscriptions on people. They'll just unsubscribe you. We don't know what that algorithm is or how it figures it, but it does it to all of us. So, and I also saw a couple of people complaining about commercials. We're monetized, and when you're monetized, YouTube plays commercials, and there ain't nothing we can do about it. I fill out the thing to do the least amount of commercials that I can possibly get them to do. So I don't really make any money off of that because they don't show that much. But because I get it. So I mean, there's sometimes it's like every 5 minutes you got a damn commercial. It's very annoying. I actually now pay for premium because the commercials drove me nuts. I couldn't stand it anymore. And that's like $12 a month, I think, something $11-12 a month, I think. So if you can afford to do that, do that. And we also all have memberships on our channel. So if you like what you see and you like what you hear, please go and consider becoming a member on our channels. And it would be greatly appreciated. Okay.
My membership is on my website.
Just before you go, I just want to mention, Christian Martinez said, I posted on your community channel, but nobody answered my question. If the question was meant for this show, I know that I have in the thing that I post, it says on there very clearly, you must be in the chat when we call on you. So you may have posted a question on the community tab, but when it comes time to read, if you're not in the chat, I'm sorry, I'm not going to read for you. It's just,
it makes it a lot more difficult.
Because I'm trying to pick things out of the air. So,
and it's not fair for those that did post a question and are waiting in chat for their turn to come. So we try to be as fair-minded about all of it as we can. So and then of course, if you're not in the chat, it's hard to pick up on that energy, like Marina says, because you're not there. So it does make a difference. Okay. Next up, we had Jules Niner left a question. I think that was on that. Was that on your channel, Marina, or on Val's channel? One of y'all.
I'm not sure.
I
I don't
know.
remember.
On
Okay.
mine. It
Is
wasn't
the
on mine.
media making up the turnout of Republicans early voting being recorded numbers?
Yes.
Is the
I
media
got-
making up the
I'm just going to throw this out there because I read on this just now, and absolutely there is cheating going on with the polls are not valid. You can't actually polls. They aren't polls. The counting isn't valid.
Don't trust any
Whatever you're
polls.
hearing. Yeah, it
Yeah.
says deception, alienation, intimidation, abuse of power. Hello.
Mhm.
Okay, final.
Oh yeah.
So I got the King of Pentacles. Yeah, it's all about trying to get you to see things in a particular way, and whether that is on the Democratic side or the Republican side. The Democrats don't do it too much. The Republicans will do it quite a lot, in that they want you to believe certain things. You don't have to. And I just thought, just because I'll pull another card, and I got the King of Cups. So 2 kings telling you that, pay attention to what you're hearing, and ask yourself, why are they sharing this information from me or with me, and what's in it for them? So that will answer a lot of questions for you.
Absolutely.
I totally get that.
No.
Sorry,
ahead,
I'm not pulling a card. I just know they are making it up. Anyway, go ahead, Shari.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
They're making it
I
up.
pulled 8 of water, and on this is the Animal Guides Tarot, and it just says it's easy to convince yourself that you're trapped when you really aren't. That's what they're doing. They're trying to convince us that this is happening and not that.
Right.
Linda G just posted this afternoon a video from Twitter, X, whatever the hell you call it. This woman in a small little town in Tennessee, who was sitting in her car in tears because this was like day 6 of early voting, and the lines were like down the street and around the block. And she could not believe this was a small town where if they had 2 people show up to vote the last several elections, they considered it a full day. And when she finally got in for her turn, and she asked one of the poll workers, how long has the line been like this? And the lady told her, since we opened the first day. When we get here at 7 a.m., the line is already down the street. She says everybody and their brother has been showing up to vote. Everybody. She says we're trying to move people through as quickly as we can. But this woman was just in tears, talking on her phone in her car after she voted, because she could not get over the amount of people that showed up to vote. And she was talking about how for years, so many liberals in that area just felt so dejected and just like, why bother? Because the area was so heavily gerrymandered that, they felt like they weren't going to make a difference anyway. And and she said, and then to show up today, day 6, and the line was down the street, around the block, and it kept on going. And when she got inside for her turn finally and asked, they were like, yeah, that's been every day. We've never seen anything like it. So if that's happening in some small little podunk town in Tennessee, realize that's happening all over the place. And they're going to be damned if they're going to tell you about it. They're going to hide that fact if they can, or they're going to try to twist it.
They're gonna twist it. they're going to
She
use
was telling people, she was telling people, don't just bring your ID, bring your birth certificate, bring your social security card,
anything,
bring
everything.
anything and everything you have that proves that you are who you are. So if they try to give you a hassle, you can whip out that document and say,
Whip
okay, I
them
got it
all
right
out.
here. You know? So
Exactly.
yeah.
Even if you have to wait in line, it is better to wait in line to vote this election than to sit
Mhm.
back if it goes sideways and say, oh shit, now
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't
You've
want
got
to do
to
that.
put your energy out there for
When
your
you get in line, start singing happy songs, you know?
happy
I
songs
mean,
in line.
and yeah, I mean, just whatever it is to get everybody's spirits
Do a
up
little
and
tap
going,
dance,
you know?
do some Irish dancing.
Yes.
What you
Or
waiting
whatever, yeah. Cut a
Whatever.
jig or,
for?
you know, bring your tarot cards with you and start offering free tarot
Yes,
readings
there
to
you
everybody
go.
standing in line, you
I
know?
wouldn't do that. I wouldn't, but remember, there are some places, if you give water to somebody, you're screwed. So be careful that there was actually
Oh,
somebody
that's true. That's
there's
true.
somebody that said they were in a line, they were voted, they came out and they were talking, these two people, and this person came up to them and said, I need to change from a Democrat to a Republican. Where do I do that? And they said, well, I'm not sure if that you can even do it this late. And they kept saying, who did you vote for? That person did. And they said, that's our private knowledge and so on and so forth.
Yes. Yeah.
They found out later it was somebody who was patrolling the polls. And so they were glad they said nothing. They said nothing.
Yeah.
They didn't.
Your
And
private-
everybody's got to be
your
very, very
private
careful.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right, Aley.
And
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
the thing to remember, y'all, is that
Mhm.
when you go in that booth, there ain't nobody but you, yourself, and
Nobody.
I.
Nobody.
And
Yeah.
you know that
And you can't be
what
forced
lever
to.
what lever you
Tell.
pull,
You
what
can't be
hole you
forced to
punch.
tell.
No.
That's right.
You can't be
Yeah.
You know?
forced to vote a certain way.
No, or to reveal the way that you voted. That's
No.
none of your
Right.
damn
You don't have to say a
business.
word. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
Nope. Yeah. And yes,
Yeah.
Happy Days Are Here Again is the perfect song to sing while waiting in line. Absolutely.
Or sing Beyonce's Freedom.
Yeah.
Freedom.
Love it in there.
Yep.
I don't know about Beyonce.
Or
She and Jay-Z
stand
are
out
kind
there.
of in
Yeah,
with
kind of
Diddy.
in trouble. Yeah, they're kind of in trouble. They're trying to figure out where
Yeah.
they just some of the ones caught on the outskirts because a lot of these sickos do that. You know, they'll get big
Yeah.
names to show up for normal parties, and while the wacky stuff is going on in the next room, and they don't, you know, the person's not aware of it. So
Isn't
we
it
don't
sad
know
we have to
until
be
it
so
all comes
careful
out.
about things? It's so
Yeah,
sad that we
Yes,
have to
it
worry
really
about that
is.
shit. But
It
stay
really
in joy,
is, yeah.
everybody. Keep the vibe high. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Absolutely.
it. Just, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
If you
And
hear
if
negative
you need something
press and
to,
that way,
to
don't
think
believe
about
it.
what. Yeah. If you think that, you know, maybe you don't want to stand in line, or why should you stand in line? I'll give you just a quick little story. I watched a video where an older couple were being interviewed by one of the comedians, and I can't remember what their show is called now. And they were Trump supporters, and the husband in particular was saying that the reason he's a Trump supporter is because he doesn't want to see abortion happen after the baby's born. And the guy said, but no, that's not true. Yes, it is. Up to 4 weeks after that baby's born, it can be aborted. And he said, that's not true.
That's not abortion. That's
Yes,
murder.
it is. Yes, it is. You need to go do your research. And the guy did. Okay. While you're standing in line, remember that guy is in line voting for Trump. He is going to stand in line for 12 hours to make sure that he votes.
And you can't fix stupid. So
no, you can't.
Yeah.
Stupid.
No.
And I have to tell you, the way they worded something in the state of Nevada here, I had to argue with my husband about it so that he understood that,
Mhm.
I mean, the way they
Yeah.
worded
Mhm.
a
Mhm.
late term abortion, anybody can do the abortion. It made it sound like at 9 months. Well, actually, it was written that you could get an abortion at 9 months. I said, no doctor is going to abort a baby
No.
at 9 months. The mother would have to be in a life distress, and the baby wouldn't be aborted. He'd be cesarean section,
Born early.
and they would try and
Exactly.
save
Born
the baby.
early.
It's got nothing to do
Oh.
with any of that. So yeah, ordinarily it's a medical reason, and it's so insignificant. I Googled it for him. Finally, I was able
Well,
to tell
when
him.
you've got
No,
when
no
you've got
man, no one has the right to say anything over a woman's body. No one. Well, that doesn't sound right. No one tells
one.
a woman
Yeah.
what to do with her body. Finally, he
Yeah.
voted.
That's
He
when you
voted.
just look at a man and say, well, what laws are written that tell you what you can and can't do for your body?
That's what I told him. And so,
You know?
he told me that he voted no on it. So they aren't going to, now it's still, hopefully, so, we will still have our rights here in Nevada if everybody voted
Yeah.
like,
Well,
like
I
that.
tell you, especially here where I am, they are famous
Yes.
for twisty turny
Yeah,
the ballots.
They do
The
it here
ballot
too.
The
questions.
Republicans. Yeah.
You have
They-
to get,
Yeah.
you have to have it, you have to go online and say, what does this mean?
Yeah,
It's
Right.
so
exactly.
Well,
I
yes
mean,
is a no, and a no is
Yeah.
a yes, because
Well, the other thing is
Yes.
that there will always be abortion, but there will
Yeah.
not be always safe abortion.
yes,
And that's the difference. And
exactly.
even Liz
That's
Cheney recognizes that now.
Yeah.
She did not
Yeah.
think of the ramifications of Roe
Yes.
over being overturned. And when
Yes.
somebody like Liz Cheney, who is pro motherhood and all
Yeah.
that, when she could
Right.
see that, but she's intelligent. So this
Yeah.
is the hardest
She
part.
she reasoned it
Yeah.
out. She saw
Yeah.
the results and figured, this
Mhm.
isn't this
People were
doesn't work.
dying. Women are dying.
This
Yes.
isn't working. Yeah. Yeah.
okay, the new
What-
Republican leadership that we have in our state has been doing some really screwy ass crap that's cutting services, cutting monies going to schools and whatnot that are needed.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So their
Yeah.
solution for one of the issues was to shut one of the high schools down. We're just going to close this high school down. Oh my God, the people came out of the woodwork. Well, excuse me? You just implemented all this new stuff. We're still trying to fill the positions because we have a major shortage in this state of teachers because they don't pay them crap. And it's like I can go to another state and make double the money. It's ridiculous. And now they're wanting to shut down one of the big high schools as a way to balance their budget because they don't want to tax their millionaires and billionaires.
Mhm.
We'll just close one of the high schools down.
Yeah.
It's like where is your brain in this? That makes no sense. So
That's
Okay,
what
we
happens
had-
when you take certain things out of the education system. When you start to teach with an agenda instead of teaching history and the truth. That's where
Yeah.
you get a lot of these people with these ideas that, when you question them, well, where did you hear that? What's your source? Oh, there's too many that, I can't remember them all. I just need you to remember one. Just one.
Yeah.
And yeah.
I like what
So-
Michelle said. We're getting to see Liz do her soul life review while still incarnate.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's when you get someone who was that set, that deadlocked
Yes.
on what was, and you see her completely flip the switch on that, that's when I was like, okay, anything can happen. Anything.
She had to come to Jesus is what she had. She
I'm
did.
telling you,
Yeah.
she did.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's it. Okay, this last question, it's a long question. Okay. Part 1. says, Odd Girl Scout May, are you here? Because this is one humdinger of a question you've got here, and I want to make sure you're here before we even get started on it. So,
Yeah.
y'all let me know if you see her in the chat.
Okay.
See at
No, I know, Linda. They don't want educated people. Actually, there's always been an anti-intellectualism
she's not
in the
showing
United
up.
States where people are against. Now they're calling it woke, but that in other words, someone's opinion is better than someone else's education. And I'm not suggesting that people have to go to college to be educated, because you don't. You can be all educated your whole life if you do your own research.
Well, that's why we wound up with an entire generation so deeply in debt the minute they get their degree. It's because they convinced everyone, well, you have to have a college degree just to get a decent job. And then they turn around and they charge them a freaking fortune to get that education. Okay, so now you've gotten the education, you're graduated, you owe astronomical amounts of money. You can't even go get a car. And then they want to turn around and tell you, well, yeah, there's no jobs in that field. Or, well, we can start you at minimum wage or, $10 an hour or whatever.
Well, there's a lot of people like myself that had a huge student loan, and I had to work 20 years as a part-timer. And so I had to work 4 jobs over 20 years in order to be qualified to have my loan paid off. But there is, if I can do it, anybody can do it, because I didn't start doing it until 45 years old. And
like
so
I said, I waited 15 years after high school to go to college. And it took me 6 years, because there were some semesters I could only take 1 or 2 classes because I worked full time.
Sure. Yeah.
By the time I graduated, I had borrowed in essence around 25, 30 grand total. I owed over 75.
I know.
Because of the interest and all the fees that
I owed $195,000. I owed that.
Oh, excuse me. And
that was what I owed.
So when Biden got in and started his thing with the forgiveness programs and this and that and the other, I went on the education edu.gov website and I applied for every single thing they offered. Everything. I said, if I could just get a portion of this knocked off, I will be a happy camper. And I'll never forget the day I got that letter in the mail. It says, Mrs. Hinkle, your loans have been forgiven. I literally had to make my brother read the letter to me a second, third time because I couldn't believe what I was reading, that they were telling me all of it had been forgiven. I'm still floored when I think about it.
Yes.
Because it's like, whoa. I mean,
nothing should cost you.
I'd have been happy.
I mean, that's just ridiculous.
But
good night, Clarence. Thanks for being here with us.
Good night, Clarence. All right. Well, I'm not seeing
no, I haven't
Odd
seen
Girl
that.
out. So and we're at 58 minutes and 34 seconds.
Yeah.
So unless somebody Marina, what you got cooking this week?
What have I got going? Well, tomorrow is Messages for Lightworkers with my friend Val, and that's at 4 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. And then at 7, we've got Golden Girls Coffee Clutch. There's that.
And Cleo is hosting.
Cleo is hosting. Friday is Cool Crone Oracle at 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time doing readings. And then on Saturday, and for those of you that are members on my channel and you have not responded to me, please respond.
You're going to miss a party.
On Saturday, I've got members only get together, and I'll be doing some readings for the folks. So you need to get in touch and you need to let me know. Go in on the community tab, scroll down to the members only section, and take a look. You can choose either option 1 or option 2. and get yourself in. You have a chance to meet some other members who you probably see in the chat all the time, and it's nice to put a name or a face to the name. So yes, please do that. That's what I've got going. Oh, and then Saturday. Oh my gosh, that's on Sunday. Let's not forget, on Sunday we've got a Halloween party happening over at Shari's house.
Yep.
Plus, we're going to be adding in the fact that I went over the 3,000 mark that I was aiming for. I'm at 3,200 now. So, like, yeah.
Perfect.
So,
oh, you're welcome.
all right, Miss Aley, you're up.
I know I have my medium show tomorrow with Diana and Joan, but Friday I have to spend 8 hours on a Zoom call for professional development.
Oh
really
my
stinks.
gosh, 8 hours.
I see my brother go through
hours.
those.
Yeah. And I got some stuff coming up over the weekend, and being at Shari's party as well. Yeah.
Yay. And Val, what about you? What's up? What's coming up?
Same thing everyone just said. And I think we actually, on Saturday, I wrote it down. I don't know if it's true or not, but the Real Psychics of YouTube. I wrote it down on that day. And
I do have that on my calendar as well. I just haven't heard anything about it. So
I believe it's there. And
Somebody needs to goose Colleen.
I think I actually may already have the link. If I do, I'll send it to you. Marina.
Oh, please.
Yeah, I'll check on that.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
And I'm asking everybody and don't have my damn calendar out, so I can't even answer my own. Golden Girls tomorrow night will be on Cleo the Sears channel. And I got something on Saturday and I don't remember who it is or what I'm doing. And then Sunday is the Mastering Mental Wellness with Isaac. And then it's the costume party for Halloween, where Marina has graciously accepted to be my co-host. So if I fall apart with all the sneezing and coughing and everything, hopefully she can pick up the slack and
then she'll
keep the ball rolling.
And then
I've had a bunch of people. We've got a bunch of people coming that all said yes. So we'll be shuffling people in and out as we go. And I had a lot of people offer gifts, prizes to do for giveaways. So we'll probably be rolling that wheel every couple of minutes just to get to all the gifts that are been donated. So that's really great.
The wheel.
And other than that, new membership. So I'm thinking I might try to do my first membership meeting maybe like next weekend. I think we'll see.
If you're
we'll see how long this crap lasts with me.
Yeah,
until I'm feeling better. So thank y'all for coming and spending your evening with me and the ladies. Next Wednesday, it's whose turn? Val's turn next week.
Oh, I better write that down.
So, next week we'll all be on Val's channel, Dragonfly Crystals. So make sure you go over there and hit your notification bell and subscribe so you know when we drop the show and it's ready to go. And if you want us to read on a question, we will all post in our community tabs for the next show coming up. Leave your question there, and then you have to be present to have your question read, and we'll do that for you. So y'all have a great evening.
Absolutely.
Thank you for coming. And I'm gonna go blow my nose now because I can feel it really getting stopped up, and I didn't want to stop and have to do that.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Good night, y'all.